Welcome back to Grotzod Plays Minecraft. Today, we are starting off by taking a look at... Oh, I totally just broke a block up here. Let me fix that. Today, we are starting the episode out by looking at some swords. So I started doing the sword texture. I was going to do a bunch of tools, but then I kind of got stuck on, like, what kind of style should I go with? You know, I thought maybe going with this original kind of very plain sword looking might be okay because people don't really use iron swords that much. And then I was like, well, okay, no, we can't just be all vanilla like that. So let's try something a little bit different. And this is kind of a cross between a rapier, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of a weird sword looking thing. It's not as weird as that one, but I thought this one kind of looked kind of neat. It kind of has this like flat top. The only problem with this one here, and I'll show you in a second, it doesn't look amazing when you're holding it, and that's my problem with this one. Then I tried to push the boundaries really far, and I have this super thick, spiky, weird sword-looking thing. Interesting in concept. Maybe the handle looks good, but I don't actually really like this one at all. And then this is the one I've kind of come up with that I'm currently using, but I want you guys to give me some feedback on this. So this one here is obviously the end sword's blade, but the handle of this guy, which I thought this guy looked really cool. The handle, kind of this hook down effect. And let me show you what these actually look like when you're holding them. So this is the vanilla kind of one. You know, it looks good. It looks like a sword. This one here, as you can see, it doesn't look very good when you're holding it. It kind of just looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a baseball bat or something. It doesn't, you don't get the like the top. You don't get to see this like side right here where it's nice and flat on top. So I don't know, I'm not 100% sold on this guy, even though I like the look of this sword best. This one here just doesn't read very well when you're holding it. It doesn't really read very well, period. It's kind of a hard, awkward... If I had more pixels, if the resolution was higher, I could probably make this look better, but not quite enough. And then the last one, you know, I kind of like the look of this guy here. It has that hook on the bottom, and yet you can totally tell it's a sword, and, you know, yeah, it looks good, I think. So I want you guys to tell me which of these four swords you like best, and what, if anything, I should be changing on them. The only thing I've kind of thought of that I might want to change is I might want to change this thing here to maybe a ruby or something like that, like an actual gem, because it looks a little bit too samey right here. So it might give a little bit of color to break up the contrast. Because right now, other than the leather handle, it's all the same. So, yeah, that's your guys' task for the start of this episode. Now, we are going to jump into our Let's Play world. Let me just quickly... Oh, wait. This is still our creative world. What am I doing here? Okay, hold on one second. There we go, back in our Let's Play survival world. I'm actually in creative right now because I'm about to grab our altar room and bring it into our creative world so we can start our animation project. But I wanted to give you a quick little tip before I do that. So the biggest problem, actually not problem, the biggest hurdle, I think, when you're just getting into using structure blocks and doing kind of animation stuff where you're moving stuff from one world to another is dealing with positioning and alignment. So I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna build something in my creative world. I need to pay attention to what orientation, so like what direction it's facing when I bring it back here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to rotate it and do all kinds of other crazy stuff. And there's actually a really simple way of dealing with this. There's actually two simple ways. The first one, if you're going to pay attention to it, there are these green, blue, and red orientation lines to show the y-axis, y-axis, x, y, and z-axis. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can just pay attention to these if you want, or you can do the kind of cheaty way that I do, where I've dug out a tunnel here so I know exactly what I'm going to be copying. And I'm going to copy this from my creative world and paste it into my... Sorry, I'm going to copy this from my Let's Play survival and paste it into my creative world. That way it'll automatically be set up in the exact orientation, so when I copy it from my creative world back into my survival world, it'll be in the exact same position. This will save me a lot of headache and a lot of time, because positioning and orientation is persistent across... all worlds. So if I gave you this room in this exact setup, you would actually, when you paste it in, it would be this exact setting, or that exact direction, if you were to paste it into your world, unless, of course, you use the rotate buttons and stuff like that. But sometimes that's trial and error, and if it's overwriting stuff, that gets a little bit dodgy, so I just copy it straight and paste it into my other world. So yeah, so I'm about to do that. I just want to show you guys I dug some tunnels here so I can find out exactly where it is, and I'm about to copy it all into my creative world. So, yeah, let's jump over into the creative world where this will be pasted in. And here we go. I have placed it. I haven't actually loaded it yet. We're going to load this cow into it, though. I've placed it, so we're going to be working on the back area back here, because this project's going to take a lot of space. So, yeah, let's go ahead and load this. Ba-bam! Oh, cow, you got lucky. So lucky. So here we are. Loaded it all up, and as you can see, we have our altar room. So this is normally where we walk in. This is the entrance, and yeah, it's all here. I took literally the bare minimum I could. I didn't want to get any extra blocks, so there's a couple blocks I think that are... actually, no, it's good. That's good. I thought I actually have a couple blocks missing. I think it's this front layer, actually, generally would have one extra layer, but I don't actually have anything that comes out because there's not an extra fascia back here. So we're actually missing a block right here, but that's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned about that. So here we go. We have loaded it in. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to rip apart some of this with the things that we are not going to use in our animation. So, how do I want to do this? So I'm going to probably take out all of the stone on the outside because we're not going to... Oh, no, I kind of need to leave that in there, don't I? I'm going to have to think about this for a second and figure out exactly how we're going to now convert this into a thing we can actually animate with and see what's going on. The long and short of it is that we're going to need to have stuff happening in here. Now, the big question is, and this is what I need to think about, is how big of area is this animation actually going to happen in? Do we think it's actually going to affect this block right here, or even this block here, like this distance away or this far? Because the smaller we can keep it, the more compact we can actually make the area in which we're going to be building in. So I think maybe it won't ever reach this far. It'll only ever... yeah, let's say it'll only ever reach this far. And so we're going to grab this block, the bottom block here. I think it'll reach the roof. I don't think it'll ever go where those torches are. Actually, yeah, why not? Well, so that'll be the last. So we're going to grab this block, and we're going to go all the way out to not quite the lava, but almost at the lava there. So let me set that up. I will grab that. Oops, I dropped out. Fell out of the thing. Let me set that up, and then I will paste that actual area into a new spot here, which then we can actually start doing some kind of animation setup. And I'll show you how I set up for my animation stuff. And then we may actually get to animating today. We'll see how long this video runs. And here it is loaded. It looks a little bit silly because I've only grabbed parts that are not actually kind of connecting things. So we have like a floating altar room. But this will actually make it really easy for us to animate in. So yeah. This will work out good. And then, like, obviously there's lava that normally is in here. But that'll just flow back in whenever it loads, which should be fine. It'll be interesting because like the animation will happen, the lava will disappear, and then the lava will come back. Maybe we can find a way of using that in some way. I don't know. But yeah, so this is the area in which we'll be animating in. This is just a template that I've set up because we're actually going to set up a bunch of frames. So that's going to be our next step, is figuring out how many frames long we want our animation to be, and then setting up all of those frames, and then setting up keyframes, so we kind of know where we want things to go from. So what we'll probably do, because I think this would be nice if we did like a 10 or a 12 frame animation. So if we do a 10 frame, we could do frame 1, actually, if we do 12, then we can do keyframes on every other frame, just to be safe. So 12 frames seems a lot, though. It'll be very fluid. I guess that'll be the big thing, is when we sacrifice stuff, it'll be super fluid. So maybe let's try that. Let's try a 12 frame animation, and we'll see if we can get that to work. So let me show you what I do when I'm setting up all of these frames. So what I'm going to do is I will find a spot where I can fit all 12 frames. I will then put them all in a nice long row. So actually I want to fly over to the flag, because I think that's actually the best example of what I did. So, flying all the way over here to our swinging, not blowing, swinging flag. What I did was I set up, this is only a 4-frame animation because it loops back and forth, right? It's using some magic. So I only animated one side and then I just rotated it, which is a tricky situation. So it's 4 frames here, but it's actually 6 frame different. No, 4, 3, 6, 7. 7 frames of animation technically for that flag. So what I did is I set up each one of these frames, or each one of these frames. Sorry. Apart, so I can actually see each individual one, and I can actually go and change them. Then what I do when I'm actually animating is I set up an animation so it's constantly running each of those frames at a speed that I want it to be running at. So in this case, it's running at, well, that speed. So I can constantly see, and then what I'll do is this one here I did a little bit differently. I was editing this single one, but what I generally would do is once this is running, I can then go and make additions to each one of these individually, and then it'll automatically update in here as it goes. Whenever I make a change, then I just have to hit save. Boop. What I can also do is I can do a bunch of changes, and I can just set these up in a line, which is I'm going to do in this system over here. I'm going to set them up in a line where I can hit a button and it'll just save all of them at the same time. Because I think these are actually set to load blocks. So let me set that up, and then I will actually show you a little bit more clearly what exactly that is. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to set up our 12 frames of animation that we're going to be doing on this thing. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I have it all set up. It is now the moment of truth. We'll see if it actually works, and then if it does work, I will show you how it actually works. So we're about to fire it up. I did a kind of a simple-ish animation with some pink wool, or magenta wool. Let's fire it off, see if it goes. Look at that! It's a little bit steppy, needs some refinement, but I think you get the idea of what's going on here. So, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So let me show you actually how this thing works here. I don't actually need this extender, but we'll keep it here just in case we need to fire it off again. So what I've done, every single frame is its own frame, or every single frame, so frame is its own box here. And what I do is I just literally add in each frame that I want with all of its pieces, and yeah. And then, I'm not doing a very good job at explaining that. Okay, each frame has the blocks in it that it'll be in that part of the animation, and then I have this save all function that I put in here, so it basically sends a redstone signal all the way down and hits all the save blocks. So it saves everything that I've made changes-wise. So if I wanted, I could grab some, let's say, green wool here, and I can add that into our animation. So maybe, let's see, maybe we want to go behind the trail of this guy. We'll have some green wool, which I think would be, sure, we'll go like this. We'll go green wool in between these guys, just for argument's sake. And then, sure, green wool behind these guys. So we're actually kind of doing some simple animation here. I'm not sure how well this is going to look because, well, it's kind of quick and weird, but we're about to find out, I guess. So we're just adding in a couple blocks, and then you can refine this by using all different kinds of blocks. And let's do one of these for each of these corners. Zoop. So it's like it's coming in at a diagonal back down. And when I actually build this, I'll actually refine it. We'll use glass and other stuff. Bam. I think that'll be fine. So as you see, I've added green wool all the way through here, and it's not updating in here. Because this is pretty good. It's not usually with pistons they like flicker on and off the blocks, where these actually don't. They actually are coming in and loading. So so you see we've added all these blocks. It's not updating in here because we have a little circuit playing each of the frames of the animation, that's what our Save All button is for. So we hit our Save All button, and then, ring, it automatically updates. So, see if that actually works. You know, it's something. Not exactly the most amazing thing. This is actually the direction we'll be looking at. We're actually looking at the altar about here normally, because that's where the entrance will be. So this is actually what we'll be seeing. So we need to make sure that whatever animation is, it looks good from this exact angle. So, yeah. So that's basically how animation works in Minecraft using the structure blocks. I hope this is a good overview for how this works, because I think this is actually where I'm going to call the end of the episode, and I don't think I'm actually going to have time today to actually do this entire animation. I will work on it a bit, and then maybe next episode or the episode after that we'll actually finish it all up, and I'll actually show you the final product rather than me go through step by step, because as you even saw putting those green blocks in, it takes a lot of time just to put blocks in and see does it work, does it not work. So yeah, that is what it's going to be. Let me just flip over here. Thanks for watching Grotzod Plays Minecraft, and until next time, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and Orcs rule! Wahaha!